Welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish. Hopefully, everybody's having a really good holiday season. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff in the wrestling world, in the NFL world. Outside of that, only got a little tiny amount of time to talk about it. So let's get started. First off, I got my snow globe going in the background there that my wife bought me. A little festive spirit here. And Raiders won another game, which is awesome. Kind of a historic way they did it, kind of wild. And I'm real happy it was done against the Patriots. I hate the Patriots, so it's real good seeing them lose. Real nice, real nice ending there, and I say that kind of sarcastically. You know, Chandler Jones picked off a lateral, which was intended for Mac Jones to I forget how much time was left on the clock, but they ran down the clock. I think Jones ended up scoring like a 58-yard defensive touchdown off of the interception. I guess that's an interception. There's that recovery fumble. I'm not sure. There's a lateral, so it's not a forward pass. I don't know if they consider that an interception a lot or not. It might be considered a fumble recovery. I'll have to look that up. I'm not 100% sure, but a win's a win. A win's a win. What does that bring them, like 6-7, I think? Playoffs aren't totally out of the question, but it made Patriots playoff hopes a little murkier, which I'm happy about that. Both of these teams didn't look great during this game. What I did see, some real bad play calling on the Raiders' parts. I mean, it was awesome seeing Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow back in action. Waller had a he I want to say he basically defended a pass for those intended for Davante Adams. Oh, and that's just a little bit of quote unquote ring rust there, but yeah, some of these plays are crazy. I'm not too fond of Josh McDaniels play calling and his just his plays in general. I mean, this is the second time we've had, I shouldn't say second time, it's happened several times actually, where we've had miscommunication between two of the receivers, and it's been at crucial points, and that's coaching right there. I'm sorry. I hate to keep throwing McDaniels under the bus, but that's coaching. You gotta get your players prepped, and they all gotta be on the same page. I can't imagine that Davante Adams, the best receiver in the league, who has one of the best work ethics, is not showing up for meetings or studying the playbook. That's just unrealistic and not very likely, I should say. Same thing with Darren Waller. I seriously doubt that one of the best tight ends like that is not studying the playbook. So they're probably on the same page. Just that page is horribly written. Because we had earlier in the season we had Hunter Renfrow and Davante Adams. Wow, sorry about that. End up colliding on a play, and it's happened on other plays too, where two receivers were in the same area. I mean, that's coaching. I'm sorry, that's coaching. That's not the player's fault right there, because they're just doing, especially the players I mentioned. Those are some very disciplined and very talented players. This never occurred previous to the McDaniels administration, so that's got to be coaching. It's got to be just poorly designed plays or whatnot. I know that the play where Adams went into Renfrow, he was pushed onto the inside by the cornerback that was covering him, but still, geez, just we got to do better than that, and that's got to come from the top down. The Jaguars are starting to look a lot better. Wow, Tony Khan's got to be feeling good about that. Been experiencing some video issues. If the video cuts out, I am so sorry. I've been experimenting with a couple different things. The last podcast I did, which was a review for an older pay-per-view, I actually used my my camera. I have a Nikon, which I record the audio and the video separately and combine them. And right now I'm using my my Logitech webcam. Excellent web camera. I just think it's a situation, probably lack of memory and internet speed is really screwing me over, I think. So I'm going to try to resolve that in the future. If it does occur during this video, I'm terribly sorry, and we'll try to work on that for the future. But right now, the equipment I have is what I have, unfortunately. So we'll keep muddling through it until probably the beginning of the year, unfortunately. And like I said, if the video cuts out or pauses, I apologize for that. But like I said, yeah, interesting year this year in the NFL. Raiders making the playoffs isn't totally out of the question. And unfortunately, I think the Chargers won too, if I recall. Did they beat? Wow, I should know this. But it not totally out of the question. Got the Steelers coming up on, I believe that's Christmas Eve, if I'm not mistaken. Which my wife's sister should be in town for that. That'll be interesting. She'll be staying over, so she'll get to witness me screaming at the television for when the Raiders are playing. But that should be real cool. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, a lot of interesting. Did Tampa Bay go down too? Wow, there's an early Christmas present. Screw you, Tom Brady. Real cool. I think the Giants won too. Jeez. Yeah, some really interesting year. Sorry about that. I was drinking some Diet Dr Pepper there. Really interesting NFL year, but real interesting. A lot of respect for a lot of things going on. Got another request for a review of an older pay-per-view. I'm gonna see what I can do with the holidays coming up. It's real tough to get this stuff in. I mean, I just started watching the Teddy Hart documentary last night, and hopefully I want to try to get a review of that into. Started watching that with Jenna, my wife. She was unaware of Teddy Hart up until this point. She had never seen him wrestle. He was, when he did his WWE stint, that was a long time ago. So, and she obviously doesn't follow the independents or anything or Ring of Honor. So seeing him, she was completely unaware of what kind of character he was. So she was a little shocked to seeing some of that, but we'll try it. Maybe we'll continue to watch that tonight. Hopefully, real interesting documentary so far. I've only gotten to see a little tiny sliver of the first episode, but he's a real interesting cat and real interesting guy. So maybe I'll try to do a recap of that in a future episode. But besides from that, got a ton of stuff going on wrestling. Like I said, I doubt I'll be able to cover a little sliver of it, but interesting things happened in NXT with Mandy Rose, who was who I should say relieved of the title. She lost the NXT women's title belt and then was fired not too long after that. Been a lot of interesting things popping up in various news sites and dirt sheets and podcasts based on rumors that are going around. We do know that Mandy Rose had a site where she was using similar to like a fans only type or OnlyFans site, which she was making actually, or I should say it's alleged she was making actually more money from that than she was in WWE. Unfortunately, because of the material she had on there, which was a little risque, it was in violation of her WWE contract. So she was let go. Now, my question is, was this a calculated move on Mandy Rose's part to get dismissed from WWE? Because heck, if you can go make some videos on your website and make more money than you're making with WWE, and you don't have to get dropped on your head every week, I really can't blame her for doing that. It's not something that I obviously would want to do myself, but then again, I don't look like Mandy Rose. And that's not something I'd care to see my wife doing on, it's a little odd, but, that's a lot of wrestlers were resorting to that, for additional income. Um, you can't really blame her in some respects, obviously brings up the moral issues and whatnot, what you're willing to do for money, but it was a clear violation of her WWE contract, whether you agree with, them releasing her for that reason or not. It was a violation of a legally binding contract, and especially WWE's push to be very family friendly and, cater to shareholders because they are a publicly owned company. That I think their hand was forced, whether or not you agree with it or not, that from a legal standpoint, it was a violation of her contract. So I think they kind of had no choice to let it go. I mean, to let her go, I should say. Um, like I said, whether or not it was a calculated risk on her part, I mean, obviously, I would assume she knew it was a violation. But it seemed to get leaked out in a certain very public manner. So it makes me wonder if she did it to get released from her contract and get fired so that she could pursue other avenues. Um, maybe acting or maybe another federation. There's a lot of talk of her possibly going to AEW, whatnot, along with Sasha Banks possibly being the, special guest for, Soraya's, tag team partner, whatnot. I know Sasha has been booking stuff with New Japan, whatnot. I really have no love lost for Sasha Banks. Sorry. Mandy Rose, on the other hand, though, she had been, improving significantly in the ring. She had been improving her character work a lot, and she would have been a really good addition to the main roster. And that kind of, from a fan standpoint, that upsets me that we're not going to see her have a run on WWE television. I mean, from a personal standpoint, obviously, we want to see what's, is best for her. And hopefully because she is engaged, and her fiance apparently was in some of the photos, which I didn't see, so I don't know. I can't voice an opinion on. But they are fiancés, they are engaged to be married, so it's not like it's some random guys that she's paying for a porno kind. But yeah, kind of sad news there. But if she's, like I said, if she's making more money on her own website, you can't really blame her for doing that. Obviously, much less, physical risk, there than you are, much less demanding road schedule. You don't have to go out on the road. She just, primarily shoots a lot of her stuff from her home. So, and a lot more, other federations like Impact or AEW are going to be a lot more receptive to, that type of media, and aren't going to have those type of restrictions that WWE has. That's one of the reasons why, wow, I can't even think of his name right now. He hasn't been on television so long, but Britt Baker's boyfriend. Geez, wow, I eludes me right now. I apologize, but I mean, that's one of the reasons why he signed with AEW is so that he could make money off of his, Twitch account, and whatnot, and not have it restricted by WWE or have it cut by WWE type thing. Because obviously WWE wants to own the character, and they want to control any media that goes out based on that character. So they have a very strict guidelines regarding that. And, like I said, unfortunately, Mandy Rose was in violation of that. But I think it's very possible that this was a calculated move on her part to get released, and that makes sense. We have, Matt Riddle going into rehab. Prayers and thoughts go out to him. I mean, his life has been kind of falling apart, ever since his wife divorced him, and now Randy Orton was no longer there. He was having a real good time when he was being teamed up with Randy Orton. Obviously, a highlight of his career so far, and it looked like Randy Orton was having a blast, which is odd for him because he's never looked like he's had any enjoyment whatsoever while wrestling. But I think that Randy Orton was a very stabilizing factor for him, and not having Randy Orton around to kind of mentor him. I think, especially at a time like this where it seems as if his life was really falling apart, you know, I think that just kind of pushed him over the edge. And obviously, WWE's been kind of having a wink and a nod to the fact that they obviously know that he smokes a lot of pot, which, with the 420 shirts and whatnot. But this is obviously more than marijuana that he's been partaking in. Kind of makes you wonder. You've been watching kind of demise of his on-screen character kind of thing recently. They've been booking him kind of odd, push him, then pull him back, push him, give him a push, pull him back, and this kind of explains that. I think they were probably testing him, or it was possible he wasn't. Excuse me. It might not even been fulfilling contractual agreements. I don't know, but I just hope he gets the help he needs. He's being sent into rehab, so but like I said, prayers and thoughts go out to him. Hopefully he's had a horrible year, going through a divorce and, all the things he's been through. So hopefully he can get his life back on track and be right back in the thick of things again. I don't agree with WWE the way that they handled the whole thing with him. Like I said, they don't test for marijuana anymore. Which from a legal standpoint, I completely understand that because it is legal in some states, yada yada yada. But man, you kind of see where this kind of headed towards, because he obviously was not just doing marijuana, he's been doing other things too. So unfortunately, Matt Riddle, we hope the best for him, and hopefully comes out of this a much better person and comes out, I don't want to say cured, because he never cured from any addiction, but comes out a lot healthier, because like he is an excellent wrestler, and I would like to see him progress his career. And I got nothing personal against the guy. I just hope it all works out for him. Wearing my AJ Styles sweatshirt. My wife's mom and dad bought me this a few Christmases ago. I love this thing. Phenomenal one. Reason why it's like 59 in my studio right now, so that's why. It is ridiculously cold, and it's going to get a lot colder in Western Tennessee, unfortunately. We're going to hit like 4 degrees, I think, on either Wednesday or Thursday. I think Thursday. So it's going to get ridiculously cold with a chance of snow. Just unseasonably for this time of year. I mean, I'm used to Christmas time going out in, 50s and whatnot. Kind of odd, but yeah, it was bound to happen. We had such a warm time leading up to this, and now we're getting hit with the cold spell. It is what it is. It is, coming up on winter. So it is what it is. But yeah, I've got my sweatshirt on today because of that. Like I said, it's like 59. My studio. Studio is like the one room in the house that does not have heat here. I actually at one point brought a portable heater in here just to kind of get it warmed up a little bit, but hey, it gets some residual heat from the rest of the house, thank God. So but yeah, it's hard doing yoga in here in the morning, man. I do my DDP, and when it's in the 50s in here, it's a little hard trying to do yoga in the morning. But but yeah, anybody else out there doing DDP yoga? It is a phenomenal system. I started doing it years ago because I have a back injury. I spent 3 months in physical rehab and chiropractic because of a car accident. And I actually have a bulging disc in my back. For a while there, I suffered with sciatica to the point where actually my shin went completely numb. where I couldn't even stand on it at one point. Shooting incredibly intense pain in my legs, and since I went through that physical rehab and then have been doing DDPY ever since, it is yet to return, thankfully, because I really didn't want to go route with surgery. But man, if DDP ever hears this, thank you for putting out a great system. And then one of the things that attracted me to it, I know I'm getting a little off subject, sorry, it was the fact that I incorporated some of the movements that I learned in physical therapy. So I knew that was a legit exercise. I practiced some other yoga before, and it was very, traditional kind of yoga, and they didn't hold the poses for very long. It was kind of rushed, and I really hated it. I didn't like it at all. But DDP, I think he put a system together and really did it the right way, and has some scientific backing within there. Like I said, incorporated some of the movements I learned within rehab, and I know that he obviously had a tremendous amount of back difficulties when he was wrestling, and probably still does. But it's been a life changer, a lifesaver for me. So thank you. I doubt DP will ever see this, but thank you for him. Let's see what else we got going on. A lot of rumors floating around about the possible return of Vincent McMahon. I think there's about a 0 to none chance of this happening unless it's in an entertainment talent on screen role. In this day and age, with a publicly owned company with shareholders and the Me Too movement and all of the talk about sexual harassment and sexual abuse, I seriously doubt that McMahon is going to be on any part of WWE in the near future. I really do, because there's more allegations surfacing now, and I think it would be a really dumb thing for them to bring him back on. I mean, like I said, as a special guest appearance, maybe even that, I would probably distance myself from him. I think they need to let him distance himself for a while there. As far as I know, he is still a majority shareholder within the company. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think he was forced to surrender any of his assets or give those up. But he is not the CEO anymore. He's not the chairman, I should say, not the CEO, but not the chairman. The board anymore. He's not CEO. So he doesn't really have any power within the company to say that. I think that they would probably. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I mean, I know that being a majority shareholder, obviously your votes count significantly more than others. But the fact that he is not the CEO, man, I don't think they'd ever allow that in a million years. And having Stephanie as a CEO and having having her husband Stephanie and Nick Khan co-CEO, and having her husband head of talent and creative, I think this is the absolute best way to go. The show's been much better, meaning Raw and SmackDown have been much better since Vincent McMahon's departure. I've been actually able to watch WWE television and enjoy it again. I mean, so I'm praying to God they don't do that in any ways, but I think it would significantly hurt the company. It would hurt the stock prices. It would hurt everything, and I can't see shareholders or any executives within the company allowing that. It's not like AEW where it's a privately owned company. This is a publicly owned company, and there's a lot of laws and regulations regarding that, and there's a lot of sponsors and a lot of shareholders you have to answer to. So I seriously doubt we'll see him back in any type of capacity within the company other than on-air talent. I think it would be foolish to bring him back in, but there's been a lot of speculation going on back that regarding that. It's like people are saying, well, he owns a company. He really doesn't. He owns a significant majority of the company, but owning shares within a publicly owned company and owning a privately owned company outright are two completely different matters. And you'd have to answer to a lot of shareholders, myself being one of them. Not majority, but I do have some very small stock within WWE. I don't foresee that happening in the near future, but weird things have happened though. I didn't think McMahon would ever step down. I thought he'd have to die within the position, to tell you the truth. Similar to Al Davis with the Raiders. But weird things happen. Weird things happen. I didn't think I'd see CM Punk coming out of retirement, and I did briefly. But a lot of talk about him possibly coming back and everything's a work. I don't see that happening. I don't think he'd go for that. I'd love to see him wrestle again. I think I'd like to see him better in WWE at this point. Because I think AEW is I don't want to say a sinking ship, but things aren't looking real good over there. I'd love, like I said, I'd love to see him wrestle. His time on AEW, I thought was great. Time WWE, I thought was great. Triple H has been able to mend fences in the past, and we can see. We'll see. As far as I know, CM Punk is not released from his contract yet, so he's still under contract from AEW. From what I understand, they did not buy the remainder of his contract out, so I think they're just going to milk it towards the end. I don't know, unless they're just doing it kind of for publicity's sake. A lot of other stuff happening in the wrestling world. Jericho lost the ROH title, so he ended up saying he wanted to fight a jobber and ended up losing a match to oh man, who was it? It was a guy that was jobbing on AEW Dark, and I can't remember his name. It was Action Action Andretti. That's who it was. I couldn't for the life of me remember his name. Guy looked pretty good. He did very well in the match. It's the first time I watched one of his matches. I don't get to watch AEW Dark that much. I watched it a little bit when it first came out, but so much programming. I don't have time, especially having a family. I don't have time to see all of it. I would love to watch NWA. I would love to watch Memphis Wrestling Championship. I'd love to watch everything that's out there, but I can't, unfortunately. It just isn't enough time in the week and the day and the hour and the minute. I can barely keep up with WWE and AEW. But yeah, like I said, that was a calculated move on Chris Jericho's part. He wanted to lose to him. He wants to try kind of take this kid under his wing and build him up. And I said, kudos to him. Good job, man. Good job. He looks like he's got a lot of talent, and this is going to be Chris Jericho's pet project. So good for him. What was the other thing I was thinking of? Oh, we got another more interaction, I should say, with Bray Wyatt and LA Knight on SmackDown. And at the end of the confrontation between LA Knight and Bray Wyatt, we had Uncle Howdy. I almost said Captain Howdy. I'm doing it again. Sorry. Uncle Howdy come out as another physical being aside from being Bray Wyatt. So whether or not this is going to be a separate character from Bray Wyatt, it's kind of looking like that, isn't it? Unless it was just something that throws kind of off the scent, throws off the trail. But it kind of looks like it's going to be a separate entity from Bray. So we've been hearing about this Brace or Wyatt 6, I should say. I haven't seen any rumors as to who was playing the character of Uncle Howdy, or whether it's going to be the same individual who continues to play the character. I don't know, but we'll see. It'd be interesting to see, because this could have been just a standing wrestler they pulled out of the back and threw a mask on. I don't know. Or is it the actual Uncle Howdy? Don't know. But it's going to be interesting to follow that plot and see what happens. So, like I said, a lot going on, but unfortunately, I'm kind of got to cut things short due to time restraints. Give a shout out to Then and Now Flea Market in downtown Trenton. You can purchase some of my CDs there. You can purchase some handmade goods from my wife. Check her out online, Hooked by Jenna Lynn. You can watch some of her reels. You can see some of her handmade goods. Purchase some stuff at Then Now. It's right downtown Trenton, Tennessee, down the square. Give a shout out to Trenton Arcade and our Trenton Tabletop and Arcade, and they're gonna get or I should say they going to be reopening soon, if not already, because they got a pool table, so they'll be opening up a pool table there pretty soon. So that's good. That's good news. That's real cool. And they're also in the square, Trenton, Tennessee, right across from the courthouse. So check them out. Give them some love online. Check them out. Give a shout out to us as always. Crushingkayfabe.com, crushing with a K. Check us out there. You can get links to our various media sites. Check us out on patreon.com. Become a patron. You for just $1 a month. That's all it takes. Just help us out. Subscribe. You can get audio and video ad free there for just $1. So just $1 a month, you can get all the content ad free. I think that's a pretty good deal and help us keep the lights on. These lights aren't cheap. Yeah, check us out there. Once again, as always, prayers, thoughts go out to the people in the Ukraine. They're still unfortunately going through massive takeover, obviously, and thoughts and prayers go out to them, especially during the holidays here. And happy holidays to everyone. Hopefully you have a good Christmas or whatever you celebrate, good Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, solstice, whatever. We're celebrating Christmas obviously here, so but have a good holiday, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. All right, God bless, and talk to you later. Thank you.